So after that whole section, he bends the 12th fret of the B string up a whole step, and then he grabs the 12th fret of the E string, and he adds vibrato. And then he plays a double stop with the first finger on the 7th fret of the E string and the second finger on the 8th fret of the B string, which he bends up a half step. So, and you let those two notes ring together. So, and then he rolls down from the 9th fret on the G string to the 9th fret on the D string. Then he plays the 7th fret of the G string and hammers on the 9th fret of the G string, and he does that twice. So the whole thing is. And I think then he goes to the 9th fret of the. He goes to the 9th fret of the D string, slides down to the 7th fret of the D string, and then he hammers on from the 5th fret to the 7th fret of that D string, but not as fast as he did with it here. He did, it's kind of real fast hammer-ons, but then it's a slow, kind of like a quarter note, an eighth note kind of, an eighth note hammer-on from 5 to 7. So the whole thing is. Then he goes from the 5th fret of the D string, bends that up a half step, down to the E note on the 7th fret of the A string. And that's again your minor third to major third. So that whole thing. Now that next phrase, he slides, it's a very typical blues thing. He slides into the 7th fret of the G string. Then he plays the 5th fret and 7th fret of the B string. And he bends that 7th fret up a half step. Then he plays the 5th fret to the 7th fret on the E string. So. Then he plays the 7th fret on the B string, bends that up and down a half step. And he lands on the E note. So it's. And that's resolving on that E note. And that's the end of the solo. Now, there's a few notes that I'm not completely sure of, so that when he bends up that 7th fret, he may be bending up that 8th fret a half step. So, then going to that 7th fret bend. Both sound pretty cool, a little different, but as opposed to. Alright, so that's the whole thing. And what I want to do is I just want to break down one thing. Again, I'm not going to go into all the note choices and all that. Like this is a minor third, major third, and which pentatonic box shapes these are all deriving from. That's something that I would say, if you really like this solo, really start exploring that. Break each section down, figure out what notes are being played, typical minor third, major third, flat fives, all those kind of things. And but what I want to talk about is, I want to talk about the coolest part, I think, aspect about this whole solo is the way he builds this solo. He builds this in a way where if you realized what was going on, he's literally starting pretty low. He's not starting on low notes, but he's starting low on the fretboard with. So that's all kind of in this low register, right? And that's, I would consider that all the beginning first section. This. Now the section 2 starts. And now, if you realize, again, that whole part, the whole first part was here. Now he's moved up to this part of the fretboard. So he's gradually building, not only in his phrasing, but in the pitches of the notes. So. So now he went up from this section to this section. Then he went up to here. And in building that phrase, again, he's going up higher in pitch, but he's also building a phrase here where it's he's really working a phrase. Then he kind of slows down a little bit. So it's like he's building, then he kind of goes down a little bit right before he really builds up, which is. So all that, again, he kind of built up to this. But then he's going down a little bit. And he resolves on that nice note. But now he's starting to build up again. So he's building, going down a little, going up, going down a little, and now he starts going up again. And now, again, he's building an intensity of the way he's playing. Everything was single note kind of thing. You know, that's all single note. All single note. But now he gets into double stops where he's really starting to chug in. And this is really, again, it's speeding up the intensity, but he's also bringing those notes up to a higher pitch. But it's not like he's going real quick to higher pitches. He's gradually doing all this. So. So now what's cool about that section, for me at least, was he's not only building up in intensity, but this little phrase, he's literally building up one note at a time. So you have from the root to the ninth to the minor third, then that ninth to a major third. So you have, so you're getting that note, then one note higher. Then he takes this note and he goes to the fourth. So the minor third bends to the fourth. So that whole phrase, again, is gradually building up one note at a time. And everything's resolving back to this E note. And then he just blasts into that note. And now he's, again, you resolve to that E note, and it's starting to come down. And right before it comes down, it goes into this fast. And right there, now he's starting to move back down again, gradually. And then he resolves on that E note again. Again, that's just something that I took out of this solo. Besides that cool little, what sounds kind of chromatically, that 16th note lick, all the cool little phrases, I really tried to understand how he built that solo, and it was just so cool how it was gradual, but then it kind of lulled back down a little bit at times. I don't know, maybe that's not interesting to everybody, but to me, those are the kind of things that help me learn from these solos. Because, I mean, as much as you learn these licks and you learn a cool solo and everything, I think personally the whole point of this is to expand your musical knowledge and your own playing. It's not so much, I mean, some people, I guess, enjoy just playing other people's stuff, but you really want to explore it as your own self as a musician, and take as much from this stuff as you can. So anyway, I hope you really enjoyed that lesson. That's one of my favorite Joe Bonamassa solos that when I first heard it, I knew that this guy was absolutely amazing. We've got a few more lessons on Joe that we're going to do based off of some of his Blues Deluxe album and stuff like that. And there's another one, actually. I think it was the one of these series. I forget what the name of it was, but there's another YouTube video that he's just jamming, and I want to get to that one too. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Check out guitarbreakdown.com when you get a chance. It is coming soon, and we've got a few things besides that one event I keep talking about on the horizon. We've been in talks with, we've had a few meetings recently with a few other people, large companies that we might be getting involved with. So it's actually really exciting. We've got a lot of cool stuff hopefully coming at the end of the year into the new year. So stick around. Please click like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff if you haven't. Helps us know that you guys like what we're doing. And, you know, send us the emails and the comments. We enjoy answering those things, and requests are always welcome. So I'll see you on the next lesson. Thanks.